Good morning, Market Chameleons. Everyone joining us for the first time. Thanks for coming by and checking out the Market Chameleon pre-market show. Before we get started, let's take a look at the shared disclaimer. Be aware that neither Market Chameleon, Dimitri, or myself are registered investment advisors or a broker dealer. If you're searching for investment advice, please reach out to a licensed professional. This show, as all our shows, is for informational purposes only. Let's take one last look at the disclaimer. And let's welcome Dimitri Pargamonik to the stage. He will talk about trade volume profile, uncover retail versus institutional activity. With that, actually, I see Dima is not in the house right now. Let's see what's going on. Give me a second. I'm going to put the disclaimer back up for everyone to chit chat above. And let me give him a call. All right, technical issues have been taken care of, and let's welcome Dimitri Pargamonik to the stage. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Will. How are you?
Good. So today we're going to be talking about trade volume profile.
Yeah, let me share my screen here as we discuss this. And hold on a second. So I think what we'll cover today is just trading volume, and we'll look at trading volume from a stock perspective. But this could apply to option volume or any type of volume. And when we look at volume as a whole, let's just go to a symbol here. Let's go MSTR, since I was just looking at some of these prior to the show. We get this volume with, that's aggregated. So the total volume, in MSTR is 10.5 million shares. And when we analyze, prices and quantities and volumes, we could dig deeper in a more granular level to get insights in what's happening. How did things trade today? Who we infer are participating in the trading volume, and is there anything unusual or different than what we typically see? And the idea is there to answer certain questions that we may have. If we see something happen in regards to, like, let's say it's a price action, like, it's up, let's say MSTR is up 4.1% on a day, which may be, I'm just looking at this chart below, outside the expected volatility daily band. It's a little bit more than a standard deviation. We might want to know, well, who could be driving this traffic and if there's anything unusual. So we would need to keep statistics and some way to infer that volumes. And I'll give you guys an example. I'm going to go here to price action. And when you click on the price action, you come to this page with the table, and this breaks down the trading volume in many different ways that you could slice and dice. So we're going to just look at it from one perspective in our example today. And I'm going to go to trading hours here on the right hand side. And when you click on it, you get this volume by trader size. So we're going to click on this. And what this will do is, I'm going to close this menu for a second. And this breaks down that trading volume for us by analyzing the size of the trades as they're executed. And so there's an algorithm in there, so it does aggregate certain trades that are sliced up but are part of a bigger trade. And it does all this for us and then puts it into these buckets. Okay, and the buckets are very small retail order trades, then retail size trades that are not very small, like maybe more than $2,000 worth of notional, but less than 50,000. And then we got like more professional size trades, where uh, I have to remember. We have the retail going to something like 50,000 or 100,000. Professional size trades would be more than that. And then you got these huge institutional trades, um, about $250,000 in notional value. So we split it up kind of that way by the size of the trade. And this allows us then to kind of look at the volume from another perspective to see, well, if there's an unusual price action, okay, and maybe this isn't very unusual in that MSTR, but for our conversation, if there was some unusual price action going on, well, we could go deeper in there and see, like, is that being driven by any type of particular trader type? Is it proportional across trader types? Is What does it look like versus typical? So over here, we could see that yesterday's participation, whether it was small, retail, professional, institutional, the volume was below average. In other words, yesterday's, so if the average volume was for, let's say, small retail traders is $1 million worth of notional a day, well, yesterday it was only 0.9, uh, in a ratio 0.9 of a million, so like 900,000, right? Um, and you could see retail that's larger than small, 0.8%. This is on a ratio 0.8% for professional, and institutional 0.8. So even though we got a standard deviation move yesterday of 4.1%, it looks like volume across the board and participation was less than typical. Whether it's institutional or retail traders, it wasn't very high volume for any one of these trader types. This here is a breakdown kind of the the proportion of all volume by trader type. So we could see here that the biggest proportion is 38.6% of the volume was institutional trades. We got some professionals, 36.8. Then retail traders made 23.7%, and then the very small ones accounted for little. And we could see here, on average, the very small traders, only 1% of the volume. But retail traders, if we take both of these, small and retail, makes about a quarter, 25%. Professional size traders and institutional traders make up a bigger portion of the trading volume on a typical day. And we could see, as a proportion of a typical day, you got maybe professionals, traders were a little bit more active as a proportion of all. So this, just from here, there's nothing unusual. If we just came here to look at it and said, okay, look, yesterday's volume, nothing, that we could tell based on our statistics was, anything unusual. And there's no surge in volume from any particular trader type or as a whole. So that's an insight we could compare now to the trading volume and quantity versus the price action. Okay. So here's another one I was just looking at, just popped up. It's like CATX, right? So CATX was up 29.3% yesterday. So let's just take a look at that. So I'm going to click on this and it'll come to the same page. It's a therapeutics company, healthcare. I'm going to just close this menu to take a look. And we see that it was up 30% yesterday. 29.3%. So that's a huge move. Here we could go. I'm going to come back to this page, but if we just go to the summary page, I'm going to leave the price action, go to the summary page. You could see here that if we just looked at our summary page, this dotted green line, we have two of them. The upper green line would show the volatility band for a daily move. To the upside, one to the downside, it's a 1 standard deviation move down. So you can see way above that and a lot of volume. So let's see, well, how's that volume now that we know there's, a lot of obviously bullish volume, bullish trading that was responsible for, moving the stock up 29%. What's driving that volume? Right? There's a lot of volume. Well, how's the breakdown? Is it being driven by, all trader types, whether it's retail or institutional, are they all, actively engaged in the stock, or is it being driven maybe just by a certain trader type? Maybe it's just institutional trading and the retail trader is not paying attention. Or is it maybe the retail trader and the institutional is not really paying attention or interested? Like we want to know some of these insights to help us understand what's going on, get a bigger picture. Because sometimes if it's only retail traders and you don't see institutional traders, that could be driven by some kind of a news event or some chatter out there or a rumor that is circulating, and the retail traders are picking it up, right? Because the retail traders implies that lots of different traders are coming in, and most likely it was driven, but something triggered it, right? That these retail traders are coming in, and can we see if the institutional traders are also active in that whatever news event out there? Sometimes you might just see a large pop, and it could be just an institutional size trades, and the retail traders aren't paying attention. It could be like research based or somebody's establishing a position. So we just want to know that breakdown. So I'm going to come back to the price action, and we're going to go back to the right-hand side under trading hours, volume by trader size. And here, I'm going to close this menu for a second. So over here, the first thing we see is if we break down the trader type by small, retail, professional, institutional, what type of participation in the trading volume did they have relative to normal? So here we see that they're all above their daily average. Small participates 7.7 times its daily average. Retail traders 18.5 times its daily average. Professional almost 9 times, and institutional almost 15 times their daily average. So whatever happened yesterday, and I'm sure there was news on this, and we could go back and read it, but whatever that news event was, it looks like all the trader types were paying attention and participated in that trading volume, that led to this price action. Okay, so it was across the board. If we break it down by trader type, and now we could go over here and look what percentage of volume, this is a pie chart, what percentage of the volume can be contributed to each of those trader types. So which one stands out? And here we could see that 63% of the volume was retail. So retail really was a big portion of yesterday's trading volume, 63.8%. And the small retail, very small, was 28.6%. of trading volume. So what this tells us is that even though there's an increase, across that, most of the trading volume in this CATX looks like it was retail traders. Okay, and from a typical day, that retail traders are much, represent the majority of the volume in this relative to institutional, which is different than what we saw in our previous example in MSTR. And down here, if we look at the share of volume as a proportion, we see that the retail typically is 44%, and the small retail is typically 47%. And yesterday, that this retail trader made up a bigger proportion of the pie than usual, right? Because typically it's 44% of the volume. Yesterday it was almost 64%, a 20% increase. Professional traders, even though they participated more than usual, 8.8, but as a percentage of total volume, it was down 2%. Okay, so it increased, but not proportionally. Okay, the slice of the volume of total volume from a professional perspective was down yesterday, and institutional was up 1%. From 3% to 4%. So the insights here is that a lot of this price action was driven by the retail size traders. Okay, retail small size traders in this stock. Even though all of them kind of increased more than usual, it still looks like a lot of this was driven by retail types traders. And that could mean, we could go look at it. What was the news? What is the chatter on social media? There could be newsletters out there that people are paying attention to. And that would be the quick insight into trader type versus price action. So I'm going to stop right there as we gave kind of an overview of this page. Wait, Will, is Will gone? Well, I can't hear you if you're. Oh. Okay, I'm not sure if Will's there. I can't hear him. So everyone, Will, I think you're on mute.
Oh yeah, that was it, D. Sorry about that. Sneezing attack earlier eliminated the mic. So all right. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for the great webinar, D. As everyone, remember to like us, follow us on all the platforms. Thumbs up on YouTube, always appreciated. Great job as always, D. Thanks for bringing these webinars to us.
Thanks everyone for joining. Stay safe out there and hope to see you tomorrow.
All right. Trade in peace, chameleons. Everyone have a great day. Thanks, Steve, for bringing us that webinar and trade volume profile. Everyone have a safe trading day, and we will hopefully see you tomorrow. Have a great day.